All right, and we are live tonight, a special show. This is a rare appearance by our guest today, and he's kind of coming out. So live tonight, shooting the shiz, DK and the Schwag with my big good friend, the Kemper Killer himself, Brett Wagner.
Hey,
And
Brett.
we're joined by, one of my favorite, and I was just talking to Paul about this, really the last, I think,
That's
great
Paul.
80s movie. And we lost Brett. But I think one of the great last 80s movies,
Brett?
as we were talking about.
Brett, come back here.
He's lost again. The lost Leatherface is gone again. Hopefully we can find him and bring him back.
Not all who wander are lost, but I am.
Well, guys, welcome to the show. Now, as you can see, they're getting ready to cook dinner and show us some recipes and everything. I think they said they're doing a lasagna. But as you could tell, Paul's become a musician since these Killer Clown days. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Killer Clown days, what it was like on set. And then we're going to hear them play some tunes and talk about his music. So welcome to the show, Paul Haley. Big thanks to your daughter, Leah, and his partner over there who set everything up at his house in the studio, Mr. Dave Pierce. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Idol millions, man of 1,000 words, no, 1,000 voices, legend in his own mind, but you can still call him Paul.
He's everything, but he's still just Paul, huh? To his friends.
That's
nice. How it always is. But it's exciting. We're gonna really shoot the shiz on this because I haven't spoken to anybody from Killer Klowns. I was supposed to be at an event where me and Brett were at in I don't know, last year. I can't remember what month, and it just didn't wind up happening. And we're big Killer Klowns fans here in the crypt. So let's just start with this. Back in the day, how did you get onto this project? How did this all start?
It started, I lived in Watsonville by Santa Cruz, and I moved there in 78, and I did a few different commercials at the boardwalk. And I'd lived in Southern California and done some TV commercials, and I had some experience that I just kind of put myself out there, and I got a few opportunities. Actually won the dating game in the 70s, which is
another story. That's impressive. Hey, the dating game.
Yeah, I just, they called me one day, asked me to come and do an interview, and I did, and I kind of lucked out, I guess. I got the job there, and the girl picked me, and that kind of got me hooked, I guess, kind of wanted to be part of it. And so I got an agent. I got an agent in Hollywood, and they got me an Orange Crush TV commercial and a few other things for Munsingware, some advertisement for MGB sports cars and a few other things. And then I decided to move to Santa Cruz, and my kids were born in Santa Cruz. And so one day I got a call for a Ron Howard, Henry Winkler production they were making in Santa Cruz. So I went to the audition and met the people, and someone there said, "Hey, they're doing a movie, and they're doing auditions today at the Holiday Inn in Santa Cruz." And I was right by there, and they said it stops at 3:00. And so I didn't know what the movie was, but I went there, and it was about 2 minutes to 3. And I walked into this conference room, and there was no one there at all except for 2 guys sitting at a table. And I said, "I'm here to audition for the movie." And the guy said, "All right, well, we're wrapping it up at 3:00. He said, "Go back there and put the suit on." And I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't even know what the movie was. So I went in the back, and the guy in the dressing room, he hooked me up in the Bubbles outfit and put the head on me and the shoes and the gloves. And he said, "Man, just go out and do your best Killer Klowns." So I said, "Okay," so I kind of focused my method acting, from Lee Strasberg School of Acting. All the greats go there. So I came out, and I just sort of skirted around and moved my hands and did what I considered my best Killer Klowns I could do. And I left. And I guess kind of the rest is history.
They called you.
Yeah, they called me. And, in Watsonville, in Santa Cruz, a small town. And I said, well, where is it going to be at? And they said, well, we rented the Seagate microchip building that's vacant in Watsonville. So it was right down the street from where I lived. So I went down there, and it was a vacant building, and they had leased it and built all their sets inside of this vacant building. And they just did it all themselves. And, you know, we had a lot of food. You know, they always have a lot of food in the movie sets, which is kind of cool. And
well,
then
being Bubbles, you had plenty of room too.
yeah, well, you know, it was, and they had these trucks, and inside of the trucks they had the masks, the heads of the clowns, and that was pretty new back there. You know, that technology, you know, the masks moving and everything, and and they were so nice. You know, I asked them if I could bring my daughter down. One of my daughters was old enough to come down, and they said, bring her on down. And they showed her all the masks, and, you know, they were very, very nice people. And I was really impressed. And I do glass work, and they broke one of the windows on their ice cream truck. So, you know, it was a low budget thing, and they're like, hey, you know, they were all bummed out. And I'm like, hey, I know how to do that. And they're like, okay, cool. We'd rather pay you, you know, so they paid me a little more than my Bubbles, you know. I was just, you know, hustling whatever I could, you know. So I think I worked about 5 days on the movie, you know, and there were other people that, you know, a lot of clowns, some in Southern California and some in Northern California. I don't know exactly how many they had all together that did the different parts, but, you know, they they did put my name in the credits, and I guess they liked, you know, the part that I did. So that's kind of how it all came together for me. And then nothing really happened. You know, I did quite a few other little extras. You know, I was in Sudden Impact with Clint Eastwood, and I think you could see my arm in my surfboard. So that was a real big part for me. And then I did a few other things. The Net with Sandra Bullock, where I think they saw the side of my face.
So you went from arm to face. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. I'm moving up. I'm moving up,
man.
But then once I got to be a stand-in, that was pretty cool. You know, they pay you more for being a stand-in.
Well, standing next to Clint Eastwood, I don't care. Even if it's just your arm on camera, is pretty.
Well,
good.
that's what I said. You know, I thought that was pretty cool. So I got to meet all these people, and then one time I got a call. They wanted me to do a movie for a Hallmark movie of the week, and it was in the Redwoods in Santa Cruz. And I go out there, and the tent's up there, but nobody's there. And I look, and this homeless guy, you know, I mean, he's all dirty and he just scuzzy, and he walks up and he just sits down. And I'm like, man, they hire all kinds of people, or what? I don't know where this guy's coming from, but it was Jeff Daniels, and he was the main character in the movie. And I just thought it was some homeless guy. You know?
Well, he does have kind of a homeless guy look, especially,
Yeah.
You know. But
Now,
yeah.
Paul, when you once the movie was, did you get to go to the red carpet? Did you go to the first screening with the cast and crew?
No, I didn't go because it was in Southern California, and, you know, they were wrapping it up. I guess they had it down in Southern California, but I know that they had trouble towards the end. They didn't have a very big budget, and I think they had to sell the movie to MGM to be able to pay for everything that they had already spent, and they didn't have enough money to really promote the movie. And so they probably didn't do as well as we would have liked them to do.
So when was the first time that you saw the movie?
The first time I saw it was in Santa Cruz, you know, at one of they sort of had a Santa Cruz kind of, you know, showing of it, where a lot of the people, there were quite a few people from Santa Cruz, some of the people that did the puppets. And then there were other people like Shorty. He was from the Monterey area. So they definitely used a lot of the local people there too. Mm-hmm. And then go ahead.
No, what did you think of the movie? The first time
Well, you know, I'll have to say that I really didn't think too much about, you know, alien beings and spaceships and things of that nature. You know, I mean, I just saying I grew up with it sort of, but, you know, I have to say, as I'm getting older, it's becoming more of a reality for me. It seems
mean,
more of a
it's gotta be.
plausible beginning than the Adam and Eve thing, you know. And we came maybe from those guys, you know, in vitro or I don't know. The cocoon thing is
I think he's asking, did you enjoy the movie?
yeah, I totally
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Way to go. I'm just, you know, letting you know a little bit how it affected me afterwards, you know.
Are you surprised the legacy and the fandom and the really cult following it's got? It's such a hardcore fan base. And there's also another question I got to ask you that the artist Michael Toth that kind of introduced us through your daughter. I got a question about that, but you know, does it blow your mind over what is it, 34 years later in this movie?
1988.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny. I was
years
thinking about
now.
that today, and I thought, wow, it has been a while, you know. And I have to say that I really didn't think too much about it, and I wasn't that into the technology, and so like one day my daughter Leah called me, and she's like, "Dad," and I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Some people are from Michigan are trying to get a hold of you," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay. From Killer Klowns from outer space, they want you to sign autographs, and they're going to pay you," and I'm like.
Okay.
Oh, I go here now. Nobody's gonna pay me, you know, to sign an autograph. She goes, no. They've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time. And I'm like, all right, can I give them your phone number? I'm like, sure. So they called me and made arrangements, and they came out, and they had like, I don't know, about a 400 or 500 pieces of stuff for me to sign. And I signed them all, and you know, and I made, you know, a little bit on that. And then next thing I know, more and more people just started bringing attention to me. And one time, Dave and I were playing up in the mountains at a place, and he mentioned it. And about 10 people came up, and they had sweatshirts with Killer Klowns, and they had the tattoos and everything. And I'm like, wow. And they're like wanting to get pictures, and they go, "Oh, you playing a band? That's great." You know, I don't know. It's just kind of fun. It's been fun. The whole thing has been. It is amazing, like you say, you know, this length of time, and then to have it come back around, and then people appreciate it. It really is an amazing movie. You know, it's just kind of a serious sci-fi. It's kind of a scary movie in a way, right?
It is.
It
used to
walked
love
that
cotton
line
candy. I haven't
beautifully.
eaten cotton candy since 1988.
Well,
You know, I just rewatched it today before we got on here because I haven't seen it in a long time. If you take out a little bit of the humor, it is a scary movie, and it's a very good movie. It's a good horror flick with some great acting. I mean, you got John Vernon and Royal Dano in there, who are just some old school great character actors. Grant Kramer, Susan Snyder, who I'm friends with Grant Kramer for a long time. The movie holds up, and I'm surprised they've never made part 2. I know that there's talk about a TV show, and then John and myself have been lucky enough that like we do a bunch of conventions, so I got to meet the guys, some of the Harad Blank who plays Rudy, and some of the other guys at some conventions, and it's like John said, it's amazing that 30 years later, or however long it's been, that we're still talking about the movie and these costumes, and that they're making Funko Pops and all these other characters from these guys, and they're selling like crazy at the conventions.
I think it really had an influence on culture, and particularly the perception of clowns. Suddenly, the awareness that clowns don't have any rules. They'll do. You never know what a clown is going to do. When people take on clowns, there's a lot different. And I think we can point right to that movie.
it crosses the generations because my grandson Caleb, he's 7, and he knows the Dickies, he knows all the words of the songs, he knows all the characters, and he inspired me really when I saw that my daughter Leah was involved in it, and then her son was involved in it, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good, you know. They all enjoy it. It's like a good song, you know, that goes from generation to generation, and it's just the way it happened too. you know, the three brothers wrote it and put their energies together. You know, it's got a great story like that. And the people that participated, and I can't believe that people are actually interested in the clowns, you know, that who they are,
Well,
what they
hey,
want, you know.
I think clown fandom has grown and grown and grown even since the 80s. With the you had it with Stephen King and you had Killer Klowns, and people loved both those movies. Killer Klowns, it's just Killer Klowns didn't. If it had a theatrical release, it was very limited. I remember watching it on pay-per-view at a buddy's house, and they had one of those where you could just watch it, and we watched that movie every single day on a loop. I mean, we were big fans of it as kids.
I was
don't know
watching
what
it on
was either.
VHS.
Yeah, it was such a good movie, and the fact that it's lasted the way it I don't think anybody probably who was on the set was like, this movie 35 years later people are going to be talking about, but it was well done, well edited, well written. There's comedy, there's horror. Visually, it's a lot of fun, a lot of great practical effects that I don't know, it's just it's very well done for a very small budget movie, and I imagine it's made its money and then some since that time.
Well, like I said, I think they sold it. So a lot of the people that are making money on it aren't necessarily associated with the ones that, you know, deserve it per se. But
that's too bad, because merchandise wise,
yeah,
hot, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, those Pokemon little things, they make the Killer Clown things, and now, you know, your one friend wants to do the skateboards with the Killer Clowns, and
yeah,
so
we got one skateboard back there with Shorty.
you do.
That's some micro stuff right there. That's actually
cool.
Clown in a movie I made a little cameo in that came out not that long ago, and then there's an Evil J. Now I'm going to lead to this. Bubbles. Now everybody knows you when people are hearing Bubbles. How did you get that name? Because a lot of people know, and it's known as Fatso to people.
Right. That's interesting that you should say that, because they did use both names for the same clown. And so the way that they found me is there was a director's cut, and the director called me by name and called me Bubbles. And so while they were doing it at that particular time, I was referred to as Bubbles. And so they knew that I was one of the clowns. And so that's how one reason they called me. But that's what I've always gone by.
Yeah, because
Bubbles.
I know Mike's threw it off. I'm like, Bubbles. I'm trying to think which one's Bubbles. And when he said Fatso, I'm like, all right, yeah, I know exactly, because a lot of the fans know, and I figured that was the case where it was you were called that on set, and it just kind of stuck with you. I was Bubbles the Clown, and it, like you said, you did that movie, and you enjoyed it. It was a great experience. I'm sure you met some wonderful people, but you've moved on to the music and everything else. But to kind of see it come back, you never really got that. Everybody was calling him Fatso, I'm guessing, over the years instead of Bubbles.
I really didn't know much about Fatso until the guys came from Michigan to have me sign things, because it really wasn't an issue.
You had moved on.
I'm just saying, I didn't know that much about they were using Fatso.
Maybe it had something to do with you falling 2 stories on that glass job.
Maybe
splattering your back.
I don't know, but that's as I understand it to be. That I've always.
It really did
Bubbles.
fall 2 stories.
But
stuntman as well, huh? Or was that an accidental stunt?
Yeah, that was work related. But the music thing has always been an important part of what I do, and part of what I do is I just try to put myself out there. And I've gotten jobs because I put myself out there, and I might see a catering truck, or I kind of made my own opportunities, as opposed to thinking that they just came around. So I would have to say that I assert myself to try to make opportunities come my way, so as opposed to things just happening. And I think they were like that too. They were motivated, wanted to do their own thing. They didn't want to go with the standard Hollywood kind of lifestyle and what goes on there. So I think some of the people that they, chose to be in it had a similar feeling about reality. And that's an important part to me, to be able to see that something that everybody was doing because they really enjoyed it and have it become successful. That's kind of real art. That's a great thing. And maybe that's part of the reason why it's stayed so long, because people can see through all the high tech stuff and they can see, hey, well, this has a good storyline, or this is interesting, or, the way that the acting and the way that the people work together, it seemed kind of corny in a way, but that, it has lasting effects on us. So it was probably a really good piece of art for us to look at and know that it doesn't always cost a lot of money to make something that people are interested in. People can tell, they can tell by the energies of the people what they're looking for. And maybe that touched, like I say, 3 generations. So it's like a good song that everybody enjoys singing or something, maybe.
I see a new podcast for you, Philosophy by Bubbles. I
don't know, Brett. I think we should make a clown movie, because now there's 2 low budget movies of clowns that I know of, right off the top of my head. Obviously, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and then the most recent one, the first one on a $30,000 budget, even less for the All Hallows Eve, Terrifier 1 and 2. I mean, even the second one was made on a $250,000 budget, which is, not a big budget for what they do. And I don't know, I think the Clowns is the way to go with those low budget films. It seems like if you can get the right one, you can last.
Well, like some of these guys, like if they made an album, they would go in there and they do it relatively quickly, so, they get a good album and they put it out and it has its effect, and then they go and wait a while, and not everybody spends a whole lot of time. They do something creative and then they put it out there, and some of it's real effective,
Exactly.
And,
well, the Chiodo brothers, when people think of the Chiodo brothers, they think of Killer Klowns, but I mean, Critters, Team America, those guys have worked on a whole bunch of cool stuff where you did see a lot of cool characters, the Clowns, the Critters, and of course, Team America. But some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet at a convention, they used to do stuff where they'd be at a convention signing and they would draw some stuff right there, if you wanted them to draw something. And I used to own some of their artwork. So it was a big deal to go buy some of the stuff they had at their table because it was original art. And of course, who knows what I did with that stuff, but really good guys. So top to bottom, those guys, I think they're really good guys. They care about the fans. So hopefully we'll get to see something else from the Chiodo brothers sooner than later. And maybe, who knows, maybe Bubbles will make a comeback.
Part 2. I think the fans are craving for the part 2. And with the video game coming out, there's a big up. I think there's a lot of good things. I think your daughter's right on the right track with you using the Bubbles Killer Klowns, and also incorporating with the music and these conventions. Music and conventions go great together. Brett will tell you, and people love the Killer Klowns. So it's good to see you out here.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to talk about your music as well.
And like you said, like with my daughter helping and participating, and you were the one who said it was a good thing to share with her. So it's a lot of good things, positive things. She's really connected me and like, hey, Dad, look at this guy wants to do this. She told me about you. Hey, this guy John wants to do this podcast, and I'm like, oh yeah, really? She goes, yeah, really. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
The extent of this guy's technology is a flip phone. He doesn't even have a smartphone. It's your typical grandpa phone. I mean, don't let the long hair fool you. And it's
we'll call you Digital Dave.
Yeah. No, but Dave's been a big help, really. He put the studio. He does all the backing tracks for all the music we do. And I'm a keyboard player and guitar player and singer. And I couldn't have a better guy. He plays great acoustic guitar and he's easy-going. He puts up with me because I don't know why, but
you're Bubbles.
Because yeah,
because it's really. It's the most fun I've had consistently making music in all the years I've been doing it. And it's been since I was a kid. We actually grew up fairly close to each other. We'd never met until I moved to this little town of Willits, which is less than 5,000 people in its city limits. I grew up in Echo Park, and a lot of you don't even know where that is, but shout out to Echo Park.
Of course, we know where Echo Park is.
There all the time.
And Paul's from North Long Beach, and I don't know how he wound up here. I wound up here because I was in Paradise, and we all know what happened to Paradise. I was there the day it got vaporized, and wound up in Willits because, well, the plan was when I retired that my wife and I would move to a place that had a climate that would support her health. And, we looked at each other, we're at the bottom of the hill. We've got our 2 cats and the pickup truck and a teardrop camper and 1 guitar, music stand, and an iPad. And everything else is vaporized. We looked at each other and it's like, well, may as well do it now.
Yeah.
And I wound up working at a local hospital here, and Paul was volunteering there. And he was playing in the cafe. He was playing keyboards and 3-piece combo. And I went, I want to play music with this guy. It took another 2 years. He's kind of a shy cat. And I finally had to retire, actually. Then he asked me for my business card. And another 6 months went by, and he came over for a jam. And it's like, oh, okay, we got to do this. So what's your story, Paul? How'd you wind up here?
Then again, my daughter
Yeah.
Leah.
I was going to say, you should have just hit up his daughter, and she would have gotten him right over there for you.
Yeah. And my
young enough
son,
to be my granddaughter.
my son Brian, he moved here. They were in Southern California, and they had met some people here. And like I said, I lived in Santa Cruz, and then I was living in San Clemente. I like the beach areas kind of. And so then I came up here visiting, and then I decided to give it a try. And Willits is a lot of musicians, a lot of artistic people. And I've really been able to play a lot of music at the local Asian Szechuan restaurant in town. So I got a gig playing there with a cowboy singer. And we played there as the Oak Boys for 3 years, for 3 days in a row, a week. And he passed away, but that kind of got me going. And I played with some other groups around locally and met the musicians and stuff. And it took a while, and there's a large variety of musicians here. And then, like Dave said, I was volunteering at the local hospital here, and Dave worked there. And then he started playing some music there in the corridor of the hospital. And then from there, we sort of hit it off. And then once we started going and seeing how we kind of complemented each other on what it is that we like. We're kind of contemporary pop rock, sort of like with our backgrounds of the Beatles and all the different stuff we grew up with, So, and it's been working out real good. We do casual gigs around here. And so we get to do what we enjoy doing. And that's same with Killer Klowns, all the people there. And I think that's what we're all here for, encourage people to do what they enjoy doing. And know that if you try and put it out there, maybe something might happen, like the movie, come around and something happened, that you didn't realize while you were doing it. And then it comes back around somehow. It's amazing. It's a great thing. I appreciate it, really.
I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. It sounds like you're really happy and content. Do you miss acting at all? Or is it I know it's pretty much focused on music though.
Well, I decided to be a musician as opposed to in acting. You get a lot of notoriety when you make something in a movie, but music is just, if you're a musician and that's what you enjoy doing, then that's what you should do. And I've never made much money at it. I've always been a musician, since I was a little kid, but it's just because I really enjoy participating in the people too, just playing and being part of it and
live interaction.
The live music, really, like I say, like it's a Chinese restaurant. We'll be there on the 27th, Dave and I, and people come there, and the music moves the people. You know, they enjoy it. They reminisce about their life, and the songs bring back good memories, and families enjoy it. So kind of what we do is for family friendly, I guess, you know, which is nice too.
You want to play him a tune?
Yeah, I was just
if you
gonna say
want.
my sister's here. She's a talented singer. I know she'd love to hear you guys play. So I say you guys take us through a song.
Okay.
We're gonna pull you guys up on the big screen so people can watch you.
Do you want okay.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. We're here. We can hear you. I just figured we'll pull you up, put you on the page here.
So this is well, Lucinda Williams made this one famous.
Lucinda Williams.
And it's a tune called "Can't Let Go." Most recently I saw Robert Plant and Alison Krauss version of it. That was beautiful. But here we go. Told her, baby, one more time, don't you make me sit all alone and cry. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. Like a fish out of water, catch a tree, you don't even want to talk to me. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. He won't take me back when I come around. Said he's sorry, then he pulled me out. I got a big chain round my neck and I broke it down like a train wreck. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. Now I got a candle burned so bright in my window every night. It's over, I know it, but I can't let go. You don't like to see me standing around, feel I've been shot, didn't fall down. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. He won't take me back when I come around. Said he's sorry, then he pulled me out. I got a big chain round my neck and I broke down like a train wreck. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. You turn off trouble like you turn off a light. Went off and left me, it just ain't right. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. Rounds every corner, sunk my sea, bring me right back to how it used to be. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. He won't take me back when I come around. Said he's sorry, then he pulled me out. I got a big chain around my neck and I broke it down like a train wreck. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. He won't take me back when I come around. He said he's sorry, then he pulls me out. Big chain round my neck and I broke it down like a train wreck. Well, it's over, I know, but I can't let go. It's over, I know, but I can't let go. It's over, I know, but I can't let go. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over, and I can't let go.
And I hope you passed the audition.
Very nice.
Yeah, very good. Very clean sound. Very enjoyable. Excellent cover.
I'll take a little of that with my Kung Pao chicken. Let's go.
There you go. Yes.
You hit it right on the head, man.
If you guys played in a taco place, you might run into Brett at some time. You never know. If you were at a taco shop, he'd be there.
Yeah. So now, like I said, recently I have been thinking a lot about, you know, aliens coming and, you know, with all of the spaceship sightings and all of the UFO information lately, you know, it's sort of kind of all is kind of coming together. Don't you think in a way? I mean, like I say, when Killer Klowns first came out, I really didn't think too much about flying saucers. But recently, it seems like a pretty big thing, you know? And there might be something to it, were they pretty insightful about knowing that, aliens have visited our planet before, and, there's more to the story than meets our eyes, and maybe we're tired of the old narratives and we want to start something new, and the planet X, and who knows what might have been here in the past and what happened before the flood, and some of these places like Atlantis and the Lemurians, and who taught the Sumerians all of their information. It seems like we're not getting the whole picture here. And, maybe some of these, like Killer Klowns, can start bringing attention to that. We maybe were influenced somehow by extraterrestrials from another planet, as opposed to being created in the Garden of Eden just out of nothing. I'm just bringing it up.
Hard enough to stay away from us. Let us not. Don't let them see us. We know what this place is down here. This ball.
Here he is. Here he is. This is the guy you're looking for. That one guy right there.
Yeah.
I'm just a guitar player. I'm just a singer in the rock and roll band, man.
You don't want to talk to me, alien. I do nothing.
It just seems to me that more and more information about our ancient history is indicating that some of the influences that we could have been, created by artificial insemination or brought here in cocoons,
In cotton candy balls.
Well, I'm just, it can stimulate your thinking of the possibilities. I mean, not. Seems more logical to me.
Unknown, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. Like I'll watch, Exploring the Galaxies and stuff like that. And I certainly hope, whether we've been visited or, we're all alien in a sense. We're all.
Well, right.
we all
the more advanced we're getting with the AIs, if they made them out of organic material. It would be pretty difficult to tell the difference.
Yeah.
So, and genetic modifications from, Cro-Magnon man and things of that nature, readjusting the DNA to what we are today. It's pretty interesting. I've been trying to put it together in my head about the Aborigines, how long they've been around and how they've been mistreated and how different races have been mistreated and things. Why some groups think they're better than other groups. And it's important for us to realize these things and start to make a real positive difference. And I think that through our art and music, and we can bring attention to things, because there's a lot of things that are distracting us from taking care of the things that we should be paying attention to.
I think with the music, like you said, and also with the conventions opportunities, it brings in a lot of different people from all over the world in all different forms of life. I've met so many different people at conventions, especially horror conventions. You're going to meet a bunch of different people that all get in one place, and they seem to all get along, and it seems to be something special. That's the thing I love about conventions. That's the one thing that after a convention, I get done with the convention. Yeah, it was great. You meet this celebrity or that celebrity, or you had a great table, just, it doesn't really matter, but it's just as a whole and the people that you meet and get to know. It's a great experience. I think you're going to really enjoy that on top with the music.
I had one opportunity to do a Comic-Con in New Jersey, but the people kind of fell through and it didn't come through. But I was pretty excited about being involved in that. This is actually, besides the signing, the biggest thing kind of that I've done, in regards to being interviewed about, my part in the movie. So this has been great, and a lot of thanks to Dave and for John, and, you're very encouraging, John. You helped me, you kind of guided me, the guiding thing is a good thing. I really like that. You helped give me some courage to go ahead and have some confidence with being able to do this.
As you should.
Yeah. Do you guys have some original tunes, or we?
Dave's a songwriter. He has a few. I play keyboards a lot with him on some of his original ones. I think we picked 3 songs that we wanted to do.
They're
For
covers.
Speaking of amazing daughters, my daughter's here. Welcome to the stream. Miss
This is
Jenny.
great. That's great. It's a family affair.
Yeah, it is. It's a family stream tonight.
So we're going to do Emerson, Lake and Palmer tune, Greg Lake tune.
Wow.
There might have been things I missed, but don't be unkind. And don't mean I'm blind. Perhaps one thing or two, I think I'm lying in bed. I shouldn't have said, but there it is. You see, it's all clear. You were meant to be here. From the But maybe I might change, and nothing's so cruel. I've been such a fool. Whatever was done is done. I just can't recall. Doesn't matter at all. You see, it's all clear. You were meant to be here. From the beginning. From the beginning.
Hey,
Very
one of
nice.
hey, listen now. Some of our fans, some of the people watching us may not know who Emerson, Lake and Palmer is. However, one of my favorite songs they've ever done was that right there.
Right.
And you guys rocked it. You killed it.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. We really enjoy being able to play live music in front of people. You know, it's really encouraging. You know, it's just, you get that bond, you get a connection, you know, the vibration, the energy, the way that you can, you know, have an impact in a positive way through your artwork or your music or a movie or something. It's more than people realize. I think that's another thing we're realizing about Killer Klowns, you know. It's bonding us together.
Is that why you have the air mattress in the
Suburban?
in the Suburban?
Yeah. So so
Sorry.
yeah.
That's
But
bonding with the fans in the Suburban on the air mattress.
yeah, I don't know, you know, where he goes with that, those kinds of things. I do have a Suburban. I have a 1994 wheel drive GMC Suburban, and I have a
Plenty of room.
I have a 1985 Chevy truck that's really nice. I bought brand new, and it's really
Wow.
nice. It's white. It's known around town. And then I have a little clown car, a Fiat 500 actually, you know, the little mini Fiat 500 that Charlie Sheen likes to drive around.
You should just get a bubbles wrap around.
Yeah,
it,
well,
you
you
know?
know, I don't know. I didn't really mean to do that. It just sort of all kind of came together.
It's just
like that.
it's part of being a clown. You don't even
I-
realize that you're
I guess-
still a clown at heart. At some, you know, it never leaves you.
Yeah. So it's funny. It's funny how that is.
He's
Yeah, it's
got these
crazy.
these kind of like dualistic aspects of himself. You see how he gets very deep and philosophical, and you know,
It's a
and
musician artist thing. It just is.
and he's a clown.
I think we all are at some point, but I've had such a great time talking with you guys and listening to this music. I think 35 years, the 35th year of Killer Klowns in Outer Space. They got to get you there, Mr. Paul. We got to get you there, get some music being played at some of these shows, get you in some of these conventions with some of your other co-stars, some of your other clowns, some in costume photos go a long way. There's a lot that you can do
Well,
with
you
what you're
know,
doing that,
just let
you
me
know,
know whatever you come up with, or you know, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm available to participate. You know, I don't know. I'm grateful for my daughter. I'm grateful for Dave. I'm grateful for you guys. You know, I'm grateful that I can do the things that I know how to do and share what I feel and you know with other people. You know, it's important. We all should
Did you
sharing
did,
things like that. You know.
did you get to stay friends with anybody that you worked with on the movie at all, or?
No, I never, you know, it was one of those things, you know, a movie, you work on it a little bit, you know, I worked on Homegrown with, you know, Billy Bob and some of these other people. I never really got to meet them, but, you know, one time I met Natasha Kinski and I sat at the table and
Jeez.
I think she was with her mother or something. And I was sitting right next to her and she was talking to me, but I didn't know I didn't recognize her, you know? And
Species.
so then afterwards, you know, they go, do you know who she was? And I'm like, no, that's Natasha Kinski. And I'm like, oh, great. You know, I knew of her dad, you know, but I didn't really know about her, but I do now, you know, and I wish I would have then too. She was real nice. So, you know, I've been able to meet some of these people. I met Farrah Fawcett one time. That was real cool. And like I think one of my good parts was I was a photographer in Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing movie.
Yeah, and I was a photographer when they drove up like to the hospital in one of the scenes, and I was taking some pictures while they were getting out. So, and I had a really interesting experience because I met Frank Langella. You know Frank Langella? He's a great actor.
Character actor, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy was totally amazing. And we were up at 3 o'clock in the morning working, and I was tired. I didn't do it all the time. And he was like wide awake. And I'm like, hey, how do you do this? He said, oh, I just trained myself to take cat naps. So while I'm sitting here, if I can go to sleep for 15 minutes and rejuvenate myself. And I thought that's amazing. But he said I had to do it because the movies a lot of times went way into the evening, but I couldn't stay up. It's not easy to be in being extras and being movies. They do it in all kinds of weather. It's cold. I'm just saying,
A
you
lot
know,
of standing
a
around.
lot of standing around. And I'll tell you another thing about Killer Klowns. They did have that big factory building and it was vacant. It was brand new and it was all smooth cement. So I'm like, I'm going to get my skateboard. So I got my skateboard. And when I was waiting to do my parts, I just rode my skateboard all around through this great big vacant building with brand new smooth cement. And it was fun. And that was another aspect of it, you know. So that was another thing I was able to do while I
Made
was
your own transportation inside the building.
inside the building, you know. So it was fun. It was fun. I hope to do more of it. Like you said, it would be nice if they did do a sequel or a Killer Klowns 2. And you know, I think everybody would really be into it. Especially if they did use some of the original people that, you know, they could, you know, from the very beginning. Because I think people like that when they use the same people.
Well,
Well,
be
I
ready
know-
to sign a lot of video games because when that comes out, the collectors,
it's gonna be
whether the
big.
game's good or not, we'll see. I hope it's great, but the collectors are going to be coming with that for you guys to sign.
Yeah.
Grant Kramer, who was the lead actor in it, I know has been talking about over the years about a sequel and definitely a TV show. So, and he's a big time producer now. So we'll see what happens. I think, like John says, with this video game coming out, it's going to attract a whole nother crowd. You're going to get all the folks like me and John that love the movie, but you're going to get this young fan base who is just going to go, "What is Killer Klowns?" And it's just going to attract a whole nother a group of folks that are going to want to watch it, and they're going to be clamoring for more. It's one of those movies, one of those things that it's just crazy to me that they never did a sequel, first off, and that none of the big studios ever said, this is a great TV show. Because we've seen some of the crap they put on TV and you go, what is this?
Mhm.
And they love a remake, right?
Mhm.
Studios love to do remakes. Well, here's one that's 38 years old that has a huge fan base. It's ready to go. Either you do a remake or you do a sequel.
My
Great.
big thing in a sequel would be keep it practical, keep those basic effects, because that's what gave it its charm. I just hope they don't start coming in with the high tech and try to make it something
CGI,
it's not if they did it, because that's what made it special. And one of the big things, and as Brett was talking, to maybe remember, and one of the things that really ties in generations of families, I think fathers, sons, fathers, daughters, mothers, whatever, families in general, is Killer Klowns. It's a scary movie, as we talked about, but there's really no nudity. There's not a whole lot of swearing or anything. It's something you can watch as a horror film with the family as they're growing up, where it's like, oh, we can't really watch this one. We can't watch that one.
Mhm.
And
there
that
was
is a special thing about it. That
there
it
was a
doesn't have those-
campiness.
Yeah.
There was a charm. The sort of the what can I say? The sense of the low budget of it wasn't slick, this polished thing. It was very organic, and it was campy, and it had a charm to it that we have the scary monster shadows, and yet we can be scared and know that it's fun. We're having fun being scared.
Well, the scariest thing about horror is not so much the kill, it's the build up, the chase, the tension. That's what gets you, and it does. Shadows always work well in that. And Killer Klowns, for the budget and what they had, I think what it did is they used everything so well, and they didn't try to be more than what they wanted to be. They had a goal, they
that's
had
right.
a focus, they had a vision, and they were able to put it together with the budget they had. And I bet you they're surprised it lasted. I'm sure they were really excited and thought it was a great project, but it's a legendary horror film. It's one when you name it, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, or any of this, Killer Klowns is right up there talking about them. Your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is one of the top horror movies. If you put a list of top, I'd say
100%.
50, it's easily in the top 20 of
Easily.
easy, if not top 10 for a lot of
To
people.
be
Number
able-
one for a ton of people.
To be able
But
to do what you enjoy doing, you see, this is an important aspect of this movie. To be able to have confidence, to believe in what it is that you're doing, and that other people will be able to tell that it's good too. And then you just give it a bold attempt, the best you can. And that's the best we can do. And you got to do the best you can do at any given moment. And there's always somebody better or more slick or whatever, but people see through that stuff,
I think even with that movie, you see that, and I'm guessing because I don't totally know, but it was a set of people that genuinely enjoyed what they're doing. They genuinely enjoyed everybody that was on the set and working together. It seems like everybody, whether it was changing a window on the clown car or the ice cream car, the ice cream clown, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, if I can spit it out, but stuff like that, and everybody came together. Was that the really the overall memory you have? Is not even so much the people you got to work with. Do you think that is a big part of why the movie shines the way it does on such a small budget? I do. And I'm just
it's you look back and you see how things unfold. A lot of times at the moment you have to be in the moment. And then after it's over with and things are made and you look back and then you can see, okay, I can see why it unfolded that way. You know, it is the chemistry of the people that are there. You know, you're playing off, you know, you're picking up the vibrations from other people, and that inspires you to, like I say, the guy said, hey, just do your best Killer Clown. So like I say, I did draw on whatever experience I had at that moment. And that's the best we can do.
Yeah, because you didn't even know you were trying out for a clown. So it
I
was
did not
really,
even
I mean,
know.
there was
On
no
it.
preparation work.
No,
He described to me when he's back there putting on the costume, and he stands in front of the mirror and he starts wringing his hands, and he wound up doing that. I think that's what sold it, because he was so
well, a
what all
little
the evil people
diabolical.
do.
You know, we're all a little diabolical, right? I mean, you know,
I
some
think
more
all
than
the
others. You know,
cats-
so
it was
you know, you
just-
can
Speak for
pull it
yourself.
out. You know, you can pull it
Well,
out there.
Listen, we've heard a little Robert Plant Nelson Krause. We've heard a little Emerson, Lake and Palmer. What are you going to surprise us with next?
Let's see, Charles Eston. You're the kind of trouble that I could get into.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, we had 3, so we got 3. This is it.
We got
Oh, back
more.
on stage. Do you guys got a name that you guys perform under? Is it like Dave and Paul? Or
Show him the card.
Yeah, we actually do.
you
I
probably
know.
said that and I forgot.
Because you know, we just love what we're doing, and we're too much fun. We're too much fun. That's us. Too much
Oh, I like
fun.
that. Too much
Love it.
fun.
That's
Too
good.
much fun. That's
Sweet card, man.
that's what we do, man.
Not
We
to
shoot
mention
the
that
Shizz
Dave
and you
likes
guys have
orange
too much
chicken.
fun.
And the last time we played at the Peg House, there was well, they call themselves a drinking club with a motorcycle problem.
Yeah.
And they've got these their colors on, and it's this really, I don't know, I think it's rather childish and misogynistic and just really awful. This patch, and my wife is standing behind one of the guys, and she says, "Oh my God, your jacket!" And he turns around and says, "What?" And he's like, he's expecting this Karen to get on his case about this patch. And she said, "Do you know the name of the band that's up on that stage?" He said, "No." And she shows him the card. He goes, "No, because the motorcycle club was named Too Much Fun." All right.
It's a cool name. I love the name.
When I was young, I was told, try to be just as good as gold. Right, child. Walk that line. Keep it straight and you'll be just fine. Well, they didn't have to worry about a thing that I do. 'Cause you're the kind of trouble that I could get into. People say you can't be tamed. You're in the Heartbreakers Hall of Fame. Got a mom standing in line. I can see the warning sign. It's a danger zone that I'm traveling through. You're the kind of trouble that I could get into. You're the kind of trouble that's hard to resist. I hate to think about all the fun that I did. Well, I've heard all the rumors and I hope that they're true. 'Cause you're the kind of trouble I could get into. keep to myself, lead a real quiet life. I don't stay out too late at night. Well, they say I ain't a wild one, but if they only knew, you're the kind of trouble that I could get into. You're the kind of trouble I could get into. You're the kind of trouble I could get into.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. I'm late on the clap. I'm late on the clap. Forget it. You get no clap. But you got the clap. It was from the girl after the show. You guys got in trouble. So
Friends don't let friends clap on the 1 and 3.
Those guys are old enough to remember what the clap is. Don't wish that on anybody.
Dodge that one.
That's right.
Right.
But hey, guys, you guys are really rocking and rolling. Paul, Dave, I've had a great time having you guys on the show. I got to get back upstairs, get some things done. I'll let you guys take us out with a tune too. And if you guys want, or if you guys are done, if you want to play one more song after we end this.
I think we're done.
Okay, cool.
You need a microphone to tell
So
me.
we're ending the stream right now. Big thanks, Paul.
Right on, man. I had a great
Bubbles.
time, man. It was really, really inspiring and really encouraging. And I just want everybody to know, just to put it out there and do the best you can. And don't worry about the money, man. Just, just have faith that what you're doing is the right thing for you, Do the right thing for you in your life. Don't let other people tell you what you need to do. You know what you need to do with your life. And you'll live a better life and be a lot happier if you pursue the things. You got to be realistic, kind of. You got to work, you got to make money, but
Reality, concept.
never give up with what you think you're capable of doing, because it makes a difference not only to you but to the world, when the world can see that it's possible, And that's what you're doing with this show, man. You're putting it out there, and I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you guys. It's guests like you and Dave coming on and having a great partner in crime like the big Schwag lost Leatherface next to me, and what we do. It's a lot of fun for me as well. I enjoy it. I'm a big fan of what you guys do, and you guys keep it up. I think you have a lot of fans you didn't know out there for Bubbles/Fatso. And now you probably got some new fans of your music as well, and some fans for you and Dave.
That's great, man. I really appreciate your positive attitude and all the encouragement that you give, because it makes a difference. Because if it wouldn't have been for Leah and for you and other people encouraging us to do things, to have courage you can give encouragement to others if you have courage, and it's a big thing to go into the unknown and do things. And this was a little fearful at first, but by you encouraging us, it made it definitely a lot easier for me. So I appreciate it.
He was trying to be so cool. He said, Dave, what? You think you could help me out with this? And if it's too much, don't worry about it. But I could tell he's just going like, come on, I can't believe I get to interview.
Well, we're happy that we were just as excited as you are. Trust me. Anytime we get a great guest and somebody who worked on such a classic as we talked about as yourself, it goes a long way. And I've had a blast with both you guys. I've had a blast as always with you, Big Schwag. Where are you going to be, Big Schwag, this weekend?
Well, I fly very early in the morning, get up at 3 a.m., drive an hour to LAX, and I'll be at Albuquerque Comic-Con this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with Clint Howard and a few other cool folks. But we'll be at Albuquerque Comic-Con.
Awesome.
So I'll be at El Paisa getting tacos.
Oh, so El Paiso. So be there. Be ready for the Schwag. You might be able to get an autograph if you bring him a taco. You buy him dinner, I guarantee you get an autograph. And like I said, I'd love to see you guys play live. Hopefully we get to run into each other in person someday. awesome. Congratulations
Thank
to
you so much.
everything in life and what
Thank you
you're
so
doing and
much.
your daughter.
Right on.
And thank you, chat. Thank you, chat, for all the support you give us. And until next time, peace out, and we'll see you
Thanks, man.
later.
Peace and love.